Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Grev, and welcome once again to another Rip Roaring Reds. If it's your first time here, please do make sure you give this video a like. Please do subscribe to the channel as we go through content every single week for every single Arsenal game. And please do leave a comment down below what you thought of Arsenal being served their first away loss of 2024, dropping all 3 points away to Bournemouth. Before we get into all of that, of course, though, there's no Jason there. You can't see a Jason. He's away loving life in Austin, Texas at the Grand Prix. So I'm joined by a really, really special guest here, a listener of the Rip Roaring Reds, UK garage artist and lifetime Gooner. We have Gloryuss with us, 24 hours away from the game, man. How are you feeling? How is the mood?
Man, well, first of all, appreciate you for having me on. As you said, obviously, I watched the show and stuff as well. So it's unfortunate coming here and speaking after a loss, but it is what it is, and it's definitely stuff to get into. But I don't know, as you know, like it stings, innit? It does sting. It does sting, especially starting the season so well. Having that hard fixture run and all them injuries and suspensions, etc. The fact that we've gone to Spurs away, City away, unscathed basically, and then we come to Bournemouth where we slipped up here. That's what does hit the nerve a bit more. And the fact that, listen, our away record all calendar year has been magnificent. So the fact that we lost to Bournemouth yesterday was obviously, very upsetting.
It's a horrible, horrible blemish on that record, and you're right. I text you going, we're definitely going to have stuff to talk about because it's one of those games. I wish it was under better circumstances too, man. I wish it was.
1000%, yeah. But let's just hope we bounce back, man.
Well, yeah, let us hope we bounce back because we've got a big week next week as well. So there's going to be a lot to get into then too.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll do what we usually do. I'm going to hand the baton over to you. It's a Rip Roaring review. You're going to talk about how you're feeling. You're giving us a little check of your vibe right there. But I'm kind of interested. You know, what do you think really deep down? 24 hours out of that game, you said it stung a little bit. Was there anything good in that performance as well that you thought might be worth taking into this week?
To be honest, I mean, as a fan, I'm always most of the time positive and try to take positives from whether it's anything. Yesterday though, I would say that's probably our worst performance that I've seen this calendar year away from home. Didn't recognize the team, I'll be honest. And again, this is coming from someone that's usually super, super positive. It's just the cohesiveness weren't there. Intensity, we lacked a lot of intensity moving forward. I don't know if they were still lagging from international duty. I don't know what it is. I don't know what to put it down to. Maybe it's just an off day. But we can't really gravitate too many positives from that. There's a few players that we'll get into it who I think had decent games, but just overall, I feel like the majority of them was some of their worst performances that I've seen. I mean, especially like you're looking at that Trossard and stuff like that, but we'll get into it as we go along. But yeah, I don't know what happened yesterday, but that wasn't the team that I recognized for the past couple of years. So yeah. Definitely a bad day in the office. Yeah.
It was a bad day in the office. I actually feel you saying that, I wrote down here that I was feeling a bit like Luke Skywalker, right? And he's like, I've got a bad feeling about this. Before that game, international break, away from home, wet and windy Saturday afternoon on the south coast, and it's kind of like when you think about it like that, and the injuries and stuff that we got going on too, maybe it was going to happen. But I kind of thought there was enough of us there, and they're not a great team, Bournemouth. They're doing all right, and they've got a new coach and stuff, but they're not quite at our level. And like you said, we weren't at our level whatsoever. I kind of look at it like, and here's a question for you: do you think if the game had stayed at 11 men, and we're obviously going to get onto the red card, do you think we would have won with 11 men?
I feel like if we kept 11 men, we had enough on the field to get the job done. One obviously thing about us as well, especially over the last couple of years, even when we're not at our best, we're getting the results, we're getting the wins. So I feel like 11 versus 11, I'm 99% sure we would have got the job done. Whether we had a great performance or whether we was at our best consistently throughout the game, throughout the 90 minutes, I'm not too sure, but result-wise, I'm sure we would have got the 3 points.
I'm not used to this level of positivity. I'm not used to it. I'm there thinking, I thought if we had a stable 11, I'm not sure, but I agree with you. We have had gritty, dirty performances over the last kind of few years where we grind like champions do. You grind out victories, but there was not a great deal in that first half an hour that kind of I was like, yeah, we got this, and we're going to be able to take them.
Yeah,
you know, it didn't obviously stay like that, and obviously we had the sending off. So my view at the moment is I kind of felt like something could have happened. I predicted 2-0 win, to be honest. Like most people predicted they were going to get a win, but with everything that had happened up until that point, and then the sending off, I can kind of see why we lost. And it wasn't great. And I actually thought with 10 men, you know, a lot of people went at us when we went down to 10 men against Man City, the way we played that game, because we just went back to the wall defense. We defended for 60 minutes, and we didn't concede right until the very, very last minute. Whereas this game, we actually felt a bit more playing the ball a little bit, or a lot more than we did against City, despite the fact that we had quite a defensive team selection, in my opinion.
Yeah. To be fair, I do get where you're coming from. Even with 11 men, I mean, that first half an hour, like the start of the game, we didn't show much signs. But again, it's just the fact that normally we do grind it out, especially like you said, away from home, going down to Bournemouth. Like even when we're not at our best, we're usually still getting the 3 points. Yeah. But you're right, though. We didn't look, even before the red card, we didn't look like ourselves. We didn't look that.
Well, like I said, maybe that is the international break hangover. There's a lot of players out there that probably didn't have full training sessions. I think Havertz definitely looked like he wasn't at his best as he has been recently. Obviously, no Saka. Big losses. Actually, that's why I wanted to let's go on to that and talk about that then, because I want to talk a little bit about the team selection, because I looked at it and was kind of like, it was odd, it was different, it was a bit weird considering we knew some of the kind of injuries that we've had and how we've kind of set up with those injuries and what we were playing. This still felt a little bit different to those. What did you think when you first saw that team sheet?
I mean, the thing that obviously stuck out to me straight away was having 3 number 6s in there, or number 8s, whatever you want to call Merino or Rice. Obviously, Rice is more of a natural 6, but having 3 predominantly deep-lying, defensive-minded players away to Bournemouth, I questioned that straight away. I was thinking, okay. I mean, obviously, you got Wanyeri there. I mean, why wouldn't you give him a start? And I listen with Mikel, and even when I saw that, I trust anything. I do trust anything he does. So even seeing that, like, you question it, but at the same time you think, oh, he knows what he's doing, etc. Like, he's very meticulous, like with opposition and stuff like that. So he's got something there maybe that obviously we're not privy to. But straight away, that's definitely stuck out to me. I was like, nah, that does not look good. That does not look good, because where's the creativity coming from? I mean, apparently Merino has played as a number 10 before for Spain, but he's not that profile. He's not like, that's not his best position in my opinion. And it's not like we're playing, no disrespect to Bournemouth, but we're going to Bournemouth away. Like, put in a Rice and a Partey, Jorginho, Partey, whoever it is, and then you have like a natural number 10. I think Ethan should have started. Would have given a lot more balance to the team, 100%.
Yeah, I think I could agree with it. But I mean, even if it wasn't Ethan, right? I think over the last course of the last few games, it shows that Arteta's not fully enamored with starting him at a 10 role. But we had Trossard, and Trossard has been playing that 10 for the last few games. And although it's not as dynamic and as fluid as Ødegaard, he's not been bad. It's not been terrible. And the fact is, we had Martinelli ready to play left wing. If he was on the bench, he must have been fit enough, because he came on. He looked fine. So it kind of just begs the question why. I agree with you. Like, 3 DMs against this Bournemouth team. Like, we're not playing City, we're not playing Liverpool, we're not away at Chelsea or United. It didn't make much sense to me. But I was excited to see Merino, because obviously we've not seen him actually start like a game yet. But like you say, Merino Rice or Jorginho Rice, Partey Rice, whatever it's going to be, you only need 2 of them.
Exactly.
Really.
Exactly. No, you're right. And even with that as well, with the whole the Trossard thing, he could have played in a number 10, and Gabby could have started on the left. But exactly like you said, if he's on the bench, then he's surely fit enough to play. I mean, he's come on and he looks sharp. We won't speak about that miss. That's still. I
knew you were going to say it. I was like, I'm not going to say it.
Still getting nightmares about that. I'm going to watch that back a few times just now as well. And yeah, he should have done a lot better.
Don't do it to yourself. Why are you doing it to yourself?
Marino,
Go on.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to analyze it and think, raw, like, was it a bad miss? Could he have done better? And I literally like was slowing down a bit, and I was like, yeah, he opened his body up too much, maybe a bit early. The power on the shot, the direct, he could have done a lot better, man. But
He does that quite often, doesn't he, Martinelli? Like, I think he's quite predictable in terms of like one-on-ones about the way he shifts his body and kind of opens it up.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so he could have started on the left and kept Trossard number 10, like, rather than doing what we done. But yeah, I don't know. In hindsight, obviously, it's definitely like it's a strange lineup, strange decision to me.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder whether or not there's an element here. Arteta, I think, has always been quite reserved and quite protective of not Leeds, because obviously we only just started the game, but I feel it's quite a reserved team. It's not very brave, and I don't think he makes many. Even the substitutions weren't necessarily the bravest of decisions. That they were very defensively minded. And like I said, we weren't playing a City, we weren't playing a Liverpool. I feel there's probably changes he could have made that were slightly more aggressive, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, because even, I mean, going down to 10 men, even there was still hope that like we'd win the game. Like we shouldn't be like what we done against City. I commend that. For me, that's one of the best defensive performances that I've seen from Arsenal in years that I can remember.
Yeah.
So I understand doing that there. You're down to 10 men. You're at the Etihad. You're protecting the lead. Cool. You're going out to 10 men. You're away to Bournemouth now. Like we shouldn't approach it. We should still go out to try and do something and try win. It's good. Obviously, it's hard to judge because I mean Bournemouth's not a bad team. They are a good team. I do rate them, especially like going forward and stuff. Like they play good football. So and in the Premier
I love that Semenyo. That Semenyo looked really good. I like the look of him.
Yeah, no, he's dangerous. He looked very dangerous. And in this day and age as well, in the Premier League, literally any team could do. Like the league is that competitive. So I understand why again was maybe a bit more cautious. But then again, every time we gotta maximize the points, man. We can't keep on dropping points, like especially this early in the season as well, and especially with these fine margins. So yeah, I would have hoped he would have been a bit more aggressive in his decisions.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to the biggest talking point, obviously. And I stole this from a friend of mine, so you're going to have to excuse it. Saliba, it's close enough. Saliba, there's been, I'm sure both of us have read, have watched, have done a load of other analysis of what this is. And even just before the pod started, right, I just talked to you a little bit about Liverpool having a very close carbon copy of Saliba sending off and it being a different outcome. I'm going to hand it over to you first. Just tell me, what were your thoughts when it happens? Do you think it's a red, and kind of talk me through it?
Yeah, so I mean, I can see why they would give it as a red, but there's other elements to it as well. It's like, did the Bournemouth striker have control of the ball? You're 45 yards away from goal. I know Saliba was the last man. You had Ben White in close proximity. Was he close enough? There was a clear difference that Saliba was the last man. It's a tough one, but in my eyes as well, like again, not to be biased. I'm trying to take my bias hat off, but
it's hard.
It's hard. It is hard. I mean, the referee's given a yellow card, yeah, but I'm not too sure why he's had to go and do the whole check and make a big hoo-ha about it with VAR and stuff, because it's not like a clear, obvious error. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm obviously speaking with my Arsenal hat on, but he's given a yellow. Just like leave it as that. And then when you speak about stuff that's happened today, for example, Liverpool and Chelsea, it becomes comical, because even if that was a red for Saliba, it's just a consistency elsewhere, and especially with our rivals as well, especially with the rivals with City, Liverpool decisions kind of thing. And I'm not just saying this. I'm not one of them fans that wants to berate official 24/7, but we have definitely received like a lot of backlash from VAR and referee decisions more than our rivals. Like I feel like it's making a difference this season alone. I mean, Brighton, look at Brighton with the Declan Rice. I still can't believe that happened. If he stayed on the pitch, we would have had 3 points more than likely. That's 2 more points in the bag. That could be the difference end of the season. It's just too much. It's killing the game as well, in my opinion. But with Saliba, it was a moment of madness from him as well. It was sloppy from him. Don't get me wrong.
It's quite uncommon from him, really, isn't it? We've never really seen that kind of. I think it's his first red card. Someone said maybe the first for us at least, but I don't know if he's had it in international or at Etienne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I don't want to be too harsh on Sleep, even if it was a red card. Like, let's just say, like it was supposed to be given. It's common, man. Like for the past two and a half seasons or however long it's been now, he's literally been one of our most consistent players, man. So
I think the man heard about the interest from Real Madrid and decided to throw in some fucking like wild card shit just to throw them off the scent. That was my only feeling. Like maybe he's trying to like, nah, you go away because I got a red card in me.
Yeah, potentially. But yeah, what was your thoughts on the red card?
Well, I wanted to pick up on something you said because I'm like you. It's hard, right, as an Arsenal fan, to take away your kind of bias from situations and kind of go, try and look at it at the same kind of thing. You can't, right? So of course I'm going to have some red and white tinted glasses kind of on, but I kind of had a look, right? So we've had the most red cards of any team since Boxing Day 2019, and I thought what I'm going to look at, I wanted to see fouls committed by team and then like red cards and see if they correlate. And I just found something really interesting because I was like, from this, right? So Wolves were top of fouls committed. They are second for red cards with 13. Everton are next. They have 13 red cards. They are sixth for fouls. Chelsea were next, 11 red cards. They had seventh for fouls. And Brighton next, same 11 red cards, eighth for fouls. Why I thought that was interesting, Arsenal obviously have the most red cards. We got 5 more than any other team in that table since 2019. Yet for fouls committed, we're like 13th. We're way down the pecking order in terms of fouls committed. So it just doesn't seem to marry up in terms of like those stats. And so it calls to question, we're either frail and stupid and making silly mistakes and silly decisions, which there is a part of that to it, or that we're refereed differently. Yeah. And, like I said, it's hard to take away your kind of bias from the situation, but it's kind of like when it happens consistently against us, and this is not the first one this season that we've had. You've mentioned the Rice one. I'm so like you, I can't believe it. I'm still like looking at it. The City one again, Trossard like kicking the ball away is another one. You're just like, what are you talking about? We see another one, like you say, across the weekend doing the same thing, and it's not punished in the same way. Exactly. And that's where, tinfoil hat on and all that kind of thing. It's a bit of a conspiracy that I kind of look at it, but I can't. I do want to be somewhat unbiased and say that, like I said at the start, I don't think even with 11 men that we were great. So I don't want to take away from the fact that we weren't fantastic and weren't at our best. Of course. That doesn't also allow the other part to be forgotten. I'm just a bit frustrated by it.
Yeah, honestly, it is frustrating and it's exhausting as well. I'll be honest, bro. Like it's when it happens so often, and especially like with us and like I said, the fine margins, these things count at the end of the season, and it's like the stats that you just brought up there. That just goes to show. That literally goes to show. And thinking back, like even like last season, there were some funny decisions, and I think Tomiyasu got done for they're logically, like sometimes the refs like need to use their logic as well. I know each season they have their meetings and they change their rules and they make it even more strict. Or
even that you say about that. Even last week we had this thing about the VAR improvement program that basically said there's a new higher threshold for getting involved in the game, and I totally agree with you when you said yellow card. He gave it. It might have been a red. I actually think it was a red too. But he gave a yellow, and it's kind of like allow the game to move on. And yet it went to VAR for no other reason. Like you, it wasn't clear and obvious. He saw the game. The fourth official's there. The liner's there. They're all making that decision. And yet you got Gillett, who's a Liverpool fan in the VAR room, deciding what to do. And that's the bit, like you say, is it's more why us. Like I said, the Liverpool one today didn't go to VAR. Like, what's the threshold for it?
That is literally 24 hours, not even 24 hours removed, and a similar situation has happened, and they have not gone to VAR. Like, come on, man! Like, this is literally like it's ruining the game, man.
I tell you, we can't have these two Arsenal fans beefing up against because it's gonna we're just gonna get in our tinfoil hats and these conspiracy theorists is far too much, man.
Yeah, no, tell me about it. But you know what? Just touch on that. Another thing as well. And again, it might be a conspiracy hat on when I say this as well, but I don't find it coincidence as well with like obviously the whole thing with Arteta and when he's spoken out in the past before He's obviously had harsh words. He's questioned obviously a lot of the officiating and stuff. Obviously last season, for some reason, it does seem like there's a little limelight on him, even when he gets like in trouble from the refs, like when he gets booked, when he gets whatever penalization he gets. I do think there's like a bit more of a scope on Arteta. I'm not too sure what it is, like why the reason would be, other than he's maybe speaking out last season. Obviously, that caused like a big stir. With Arsenal, obviously, people obviously tend to treat us differently and obviously have a thing against us. But even with that as well, like a lot of the pundits on mainstream media, on the Sky Sports, for example, TNT, obviously are ex-players as well, and they're kind of from Arteta's that kind of same era. And even when it comes to them, like they actually have an influence as well, I believe, like, because I feel like when it comes to the whole VAR and refereeing and stuff, I feel like they kind of click up and have to protect like them results. Like genuinely, like I feel like there is something there. Again, like that's like, I know that does sound like a conspiracy what I've just said, but there is something there. I'm telling you, there is something there. Like, so that doesn't add up. You literally put the stats up just now as well. Like surely, like something doesn't add up, man.
I know. Well, yeah, I agree. I mean, there is an element here where the PGML is in the pockets of the people that run on Sky Sports. They have this program, Howard Webb goes on it, the overlap, and they're all smiling, laughing. It's all jokes, exactly. And it's like this is like this is a serious business. There's a lot of money involved, a lot of people involved. Like me and Jason always say this: like if we ever do 12:30 on a Saturday or even 5:30 on a Saturday, you just ruin my entire weekend now. Cheers. And it's just it's a big deal, and it is. You're right. I kind of feel like they have a responsibility to look at these things as pundits with transparency, with candidness, with openness, and not necessarily bringing their own. Like Gary Neville, he's a prime suspect here because he does it a lot. Yeah. I feel that he always brings in his Man United. It's always a bit of a layer. Same with Carragher, a bit of Liverpool. Like I feel there's a not as much balance in that punditry as possible, and it would be good. Like I say, because I think they're just at the mercy of a lot of the things that the FA do that they just can't maybe go against the grain. And like you say, maybe there's some element where Arteta is somewhat being punished for not towing the company line, I guess.
Exactly right. Because these guys, these pundits, when they go out and say certain things, that'll be the headline. Oh, quotation: Arteta's out of order. Arteta's this. Arteta is disrespectful for talking about the refs, and then that headline it just stirs up more. It just stirs up more, blows things up, and all of a sudden, like people will look at it and be like, "Oh yeah, Arteta's this kind of guy. He's against this." It's just unnecessary limelight on us. Like we just want to quietly go about our business, but
and win the league.
Yeah, exactly. And win the league, exactly. So it's like it is frustrating. It's frustrating.
Yeah. But before we move on, I did have a question for you because I heard or read some of this previously, so it was interesting. We've always been, I suppose, over the last kind of 5 or so years, been said that we're quite soft, we're easy to roll over, we don't get at them, we're not against it. And now the opposite kind of feels like we've got a discipline problem.
Yeah.
Like we're getting more cards than anybody else. Do you think that we've got a discipline problem? What's your view on that?
I actually don't think we do. Like, I know it sounds crazy because we've got 3 red cards in the space of like 8 games, but I feel like a few years back, a couple of seasons ago, maybe there was something there. But I feel like in recent times, the red cards we have been getting, obviously, like not really. I mean, they've been soft as we speak about that. They've been questionable. So I'm actually not too worried about that. Maybe we have to be a bit more. I mean, listen, we're very street smart, even in regards to like the dark arts. But I guess we've maybe got to be a bit more savvy with how, okay, maybe there's a magnifying glass. Clearly, the referee is like it's gone way softer now. You can't touch a ball, kick a ball away, or anything like that. You're going to get sent off. So maybe we've got to be a bit less naive in that sense. I don't think we've got much. I'm not worried about the discipline issue in that sense, but I do feel like obviously we've got a bit about us now. More, like less naivety in just in general, but discipline-wise, I think we're right. I'm not too stressed about that.
It's quite a good balanced view from you there. I like it, and I agree with you. I also don't think it. I just found it interesting that we were kind of being run over the coals a little bit for we're either too soft or too aggressive, and it's like we can never. We're like Goldilocks' porridge. We're never quite right. which is a shame. But I think I think we're a bit better now.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I want to talk about. I had the next segment. It was called the drop off, and I wanted to talk about maybe that delta between these starters and then our bench players, because obviously this game called into effect. We were missing Saka, and Saka is a huge loss, right? There is no other Saka. There's a few of them in world football, right? And there's hardly any at the quality and the level that he's at. For me, the drop off for me was Sterling was just not at the same level as Saka, nor do I expect him to be, but I just don't feel he was very effective in his role. I don't know if you saw the same thing as me, that you just feel that it was maybe Jesus could have been another option there. Maybe, I'm not too sure, because he's also been pretty lackluster in his style. What's your view?
I mean, specifically to the Saka situation. I mean, I feel like Raheem hasn't been given enough minutes or time yet. Yesterday there was one or two occasions where he skipped past a few players that he's got a different dynamic to him than a Saka. Obviously, like as you said, like there's no other Bukayo Saka, man. He's literally how I value that guy, like right up there. And I'm talking even like going back now in history as well, because he's only 23 years old, man. Like I feel like he's gonna shoot up. So it's hard to obviously come in when he's injured and try to replicate that. But I still think Raheem will come good. I think when he gets a bit more minutes, obviously it was unfortunate that he had to come off. And to be honest, with Jesus, I've kind of fell off him now, man. I don't like to spew too much like negative views or anything like that. But Jesus, I think, in the nicest way possible, I think his time at Arsenal, like, it's not looking good. So I feel like, you see, that's in regards to the Saka backup, for example. But I feel like we're too reliant on Havertz as well. So it's like, if something happens to Kai, I mean, yesterday apparently he's been carrying something for a few weeks. Obviously, he didn't travel with Germany, or he came back early, one of the two. But if something happens to Kai, I'll be just as worried, like, if the same as Bukayo, because who do we have coming in?
Yeah, I think that actually brings up the fact that our summer business again just wasn't enough. I know that afterwards, when we got Sterling, I think a lot of people were like, okay, it's maybe a 7 out of 10. But you're right. Like, I think that, we've seen enough of, although Jesus had all these videos, all these pictures over the summer where he was on the weights, he was getting stronger, he was fitter, he was ready to come back hungry. He hasn't been that so far. There could be an element, like you said, not enough minutes maybe in either of them to maybe do them either justice. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm not advocating for a Jesus start, nor coming off the bench for a Havertz either. Yeah, it's a big drop off for sure.
Yeah, it's a mixture of things as well, because again, like I say that about Jesus, I love the guy. Like, he's like, since he's come to Arsenal, that first season or first half of season, whatever it is, like him and Zinchenko, like they raised our level. But it just shows how fast we're going as well now, where if they're both fully fit, they're not, with all due respect, they're not getting anywhere near the starting 11. Like they're not. But then it's mixed with the fact that he's had that injury. I feel like since he's come back from that, I know, like you said, in the summer, we see all the pictures and footage of him in the gym, etc. But I don't know what it is. He's fluffing his chances a lot. Not to say he was the best finisher back in the day before his injury, but it's gone. He's just declined even more, man. And it's sad. It's sad to see. But that's why, speaking about the drop off and our summer business, getting Sterling did help in that sense. But I still feel like, and obviously you probably hear every single fan say this, that we do need a striker, but not necessarily to come in and be our number one choice. We just need to have comfortable with his style. I'd rather put, like, again, Leo's not a natural number 9. He's better on the left, maybe number 10. A few games, but if something happens to Havertz, like long term, God forbid, touch wood, it doesn't. We're in a very,
it'd be just our luck. It wouldn't it? If he was to Odegaard, Saka, Havertz, if Saliba, like, then we're cooked then, right? It's like, it's done.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, the drop is tough to say, because when players do come in, whether it's cup games, whether it's injuries, sometimes, like, it's hard because the chemistry is not there. Then again, they should be training together and practicing and stuff. Like ends of 1 or 2 games or little cameos, but the drop off definitely is there. So, like for example, I mean, if he was still fresh and active and still doing what he was doing, that would be the perfect option. It's like last City had, and then you Alvarez, he's like a different profile. When Haaland's injured, and Alvarez come in, it'll be the same thing with us with Havertz and Jesus, but Jesus isn't meeting that standard. He's not meeting a player you can completely bring on and rotate. Even in the cup game against Bolton, I mean, like it was just fluffing his lines again. It's just I don't want to stick on a guy too much, but it just kind of indicates that we do need one more up there, man. We do need one more up there.
I feel he just feels like he's trying too hard. Like he holds onto the ball for far too long. He won't release it. It's like I made a comparison to say Havertz previously, where it's like he just needs a goal to bring that confidence. Same as Martinelli. Like he's actually come a little bit better and got a bit of form now, just to get that one goal and sort himself out. And maybe Jesus, like you say, maybe needs some minutes, maybe needs a start to kind of get him there. That's what I'm saying. Bournemouth away feels like a game where, you know, try that out. If it's not working for 45 minutes, you can swap it out to something else. And it just wasn't necessarily brave enough. But like you know, I don't have a lot of confidence. And this Jesus against Leicester, that first game like 2 or 3 years ago, whenever it was, that's the one game I'm like, man, I was there for it. He was electric. He was like so like he scared defenders, absolutely like frightened them. And that player's gone. And it's a real shame. And like I say, we missed Saka a lot today or yesterday. Sorry.
Yeah, no, of course. No, you're right. It's a shame to say because listen, when he first came, that Leicester game, that start of the season, I was thinking, right, this guy's going to be like our number one striker for years to come, and just like that, within the space of a season, 2 seasons, like he's not, like you said, he's not the same player anymore. It's sad to say, but it's true.
That's right. We're going to go all in for Sesko anyway. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'll take him.
I'm sure of it. I wanted to talk maybe a little bit about, because Kiwior was thrown into the game, Sterling came off, and I think nothing against Sterling, because I think it's the same substitution we made when Saka came off when we were down to 10 men previously. It feels like that's the swap we needed to make. But what did you think about his performance in this game?
Probably one of his worst performances that I've seen in an Arsenal shirt from Kiwior. I actually highly rate Kiwior. I know he gets overlooked probably because he doesn't start every game. But I've been a fan since his profile, his age. He's tall, he's quick. He's very quick as well. He can play different positions, and I was like, yeah, he's a good squad player. We need someone like that. And last season, when he stepped in, I think it was around January times, and playing left back for us, like he played left back for us for a good 2-3 months, like roughly that. And that was when we was literally going and battering teams away from home, like 5s and 6s, and keeping with them clean sheets and stuff. So he was like a vital part of that as well. So that's why, again, like I do like him. I rate him highly. But yesterday, it was one of his worst I've ever seen him in an Arsenal shirt. And to be fair, there was a few of them that had like real 0 out of 10s as well. So, but yeah, for him, like he was uncomfortable the whole day.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right. Like he was thrown into a game, right, with like hardly any starter minutes under his belt, any bench minutes under his belt. Difficult situation to come into, particularly with 10 men who are always going to be defending for long periods of that game.
Exactly.
You're right. Like as a good utility player, because he can play a lot of different positions. It's so weird to look back now to think that we spent most of the summer just buying defenders for fun, and everyone was going like, why have we got like 9 centre backs and like another fullback, and like it just doesn't make any sense. And yet we're here. Kiwi was having to come on to batten down the hatches away at Bournemouth. It just feels so weird.
Crazy. And at right centre back as well, like not even like a left centre back or left back, like he's coming on and playing somewhere that's like a bit more unnatural for him. And that's why you got players like Tomiyasu there who's like
honestly, why did we sign him a new contract is beyond me. The guy, he's like Reece James, just gets injured non-stop. It's so boring.
And he's such a top player as well. That's the thing, man. In the big games, like he's a big game player. I feel like he's very consistent when he does play in the big games and stuff. But he's just, the availability is not there. If he's not available, then that's the first thing you want from a player, to be available. as much as possible. And
the base it's basically the basic, isn't it? Like you say, you just
the
need
foundation,
to play.
just be available to come on the pitch and play football, man. But you're right though. That's why I don't complain when we sign more defenders. Like when we're signing Calafiori and all these players, I'm like, if we sign another defender in January, I wouldn't be upset about it, because some of the defenders we do have there are a little bit injury prone, innit? So
yeah. All right. Well, look, you said to me at the start of this podcast that you're a positive guy. You like to see the brighter side of things, right? So I want to move on to any positives from this game. I don't want to set you up. I don't want to tell you nothing. Just tell me, you be positive. Is there anything you can take away from this game that was a positive for you?
Saliba's red card apparently is only 1 match ban. I thought it was going to be a 2-match ban because it's a straight red. So I think that's a positive, because I was thinking he's going to be out for a couple of games, but because it wasn't violent conduct or whatever the rules are, like, it's only 1 game. So that's I mean, if you can call that a positive. But it's hard, bro. It's hard to take anything from that game, man. Like it was genuinely that bad. But I just put it down to like literally a bad day in the office. Like the whole calendar year of 2024 away from home, we have been superb. We have been incredible. And yesterday, it's hard to take any positives, but I don't want to be too harsh on them, because every team has an off day. Every team has an off day, and with us, we've actually been so consistent in that department away from home in the league. So yeah, positives is there was a few. I mean, I think Rice and Partey looked really good yesterday, but again, it's like it's right having 1 or 2 players that are playing well, but you need 11 players to be on job, like in the Premier League, like especially it's so competitive now. So yeah, it's hard to take any positives, I'll be honest, man.
I mean, your positives are good ones though. Like I kind of agree. The thing I would look at, like you say, is this consistent, something that's going to happen again, or is it a blip? You know, when we did this last season, we dropped points in that Christmas period to West Ham, to Villa, I think it was. Like when we had that period.
Yeah,
that's what we got to kind of hope now. We're moving now into Liverpool, Newcastle, and Chelsea, like in our next 3. That they're not easy games by any means, and having Saliba out for 1 of them is not ideal. Great that it's not for 3 of them for sure, because like you, I assumed it was 3 as well. For shit, that Timber. I was hoping that Timber will come in, like be our right-sided centre back. I think if he kind of comes into that position, I think he's good, and we'll be able to do that. Agree with you as well. Rice and Partey for me were the only 2. Rice again showed those flashes where he can take games by the scruff of the neck a little bit. He was trying to drive through the midfield, and like we were overloaded because they had more players than us. And I think he did that. I think Partey is starting to feel like the Partey of old. Good recoveries, good movement. I love his passing. In the absence of like an Odegaard, he seems to be the only player that can actually make a really good line-breaking pass. So it's good to see him getting back to his best. But like I say, quite, you know, what you need is not 2 men being all right. You know, we kind of had 8 people dropping 2 out of 3 stinkers there. So not ideal by any means. But hopefully, like you, we need to put it down to a bad day at the office and we can move on and go on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, just on that actually, like, would you, because I'm seeing some rumors about Partey getting another contract, like a year extension or something. Would you be happy with that? Because I was thinking, you know what, like, the way he's been looking so far at the start of this season, I mean, I'd take it.
Yeah, would you have imagined him starting as many games as he started this season based on where we were? I don't think anybody would have. Obviously, Marino's shoulder injury probably made Partey stay in our team, but even he played a right back the last game, right? Because we didn't really have a right back. He's obviously quite versatile. And when he is good, he is good. Like he is almost unplayable in that position. There's not many in world football that are quite as good as the octopus.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. Like it's different. Like we're gonna have to. I don't know if we need another, because obviously you can kind of maybe put like Zinchenko or Calafiori can kind of come inside a little bit. We have got quite a few different options at that position. It also depends on the money. You know, we've always been quite guilty in the past of giving players quite hefty contracts when they're kind of on their last legs. Like I don't know how much Jesus is on, but he's at 200 plus something. It's a lot of money when they're not at the level. So I'm firmly sitting on the fence.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you because I think he will be what 32 or going on close to that now anyway. So putting him on, I'm sure he's going to be on high wages as well. So yeah, I guess you got to look at it that way. But yeah,
we need some monster kind of Saudi offer for him. Really, that's kind of what we need.
Yeah,
I need a big kind of offer from there.
If we get big money from Saudi, it's a different conversation. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Rice and Partey yesterday. I mean, Declan. Sometimes I still can't believe we have him. Like, I'm just like raw. Like, and the thing is, like for me, like it's like he knows what it means, like to play for Arsenal. Like he could tell he feel like he's living his dream right now. Like you could tell, like proper. The other day, I think I saw on his story or social media, he was like visiting like the old Highbury and stuff like that, like putting love heart emojis and stuff like. I reckon like he's obviously we call Tony Adams Mr. Arsenal. I reckon Declan Rice could be that in that mold moving forward, man, because you could tell he loves to play for the Arsenal, man. Like, and
you just got to win some. That's the thing, though, isn't it? You really got to. When we've got these type of players at that type of level, it's just needed to kind of put something with. But I agree with you because it feels like like I say, the shirt means something, the badge means something, and that's really good because there's a lot of players that do come in. You feel they're a bit like mercenaries. He doesn't feel like a mercenary.
Literally, and I think the trophies will come, man. I'm relaxed about it. Well, I mean, I don't know if I can take another season of like losing like to small margins to City again. It's going to be exhausting, but I think it will come. I genuinely think it will come. It's like it's just obviously City and Pep in it. That's the mountain we got to just.
Hey, hopefully the ride is almost coming to an end in that respect. But who knows? Like I don't know how many like Liverpool fans you've got there. I've got a few Liverpool friends, and how they manage to just stay sane and level-headed across many seasons, competing and losing. I mean, they obviously got one, but man, like you say, it's exhausting, right? It's exhausting,
man. The last 2 seasons have probably been. I mean, I would say it's probably been the most exciting, like as an adult, but the most exhausting as well. Like that little end to the season, not last season, season before, was proper stressful. And then last year as well, obviously last season, but this calendar year, when it came to May and that last day of the season, when I left the stadium, I think something just left me. I was just like, oh, like I don't know how much more I could take with this.
My head just drains out, doesn't it?
Drains out. I was like, yo, a break is needed. Bring on the summer. Yeah, and then before we get to August, we need a few months off, man. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Forget the players, we need it. Do you get me?
Yeah, exactly. Just to recharge. Honestly, I'm feeling it now. Everyone's been begging for no more international breaks, and we probably like, can we just have another one now, just so I can get over it?
Just give me one more.
Yeah, no, I don't wish that on anyone. But right, we've discussed the game. I really do appreciate you coming on with me and talking about it. Before I go there, there's so there is a game coming up on Tuesday. I'm interested to hear your predictions. We've got Shakhtar at home on Tuesday. What do you think we're going to do in that game?
I'm confident going into that game. I would hope for obviously a clean sheet, a nice win. Even like I would say maybe like a 2-0. I reckon we can do them. I would probably. Again, it just depends on injuries as well, like in regards to rotation. I wouldn't rotate too heavy, but maybe just swap a few players here and there just to keep it fresh, because obviously we got Liverpool on Sunday, which is the massive one. But I'm confident. I'm confident going to Shakhtar. I think we'll be comfortable. We'll be all right. Yeah,
I'm with you. I think we can do Shakhtar. I don't think there's much about them anymore. I've seen us play Shakhtar a few times, and to be honest, it's never really sweated me. But like you say, I think we've got to keep enough solidity in the team selection to move into the Liverpool game where you don't kind of, like you say, transform too much, to make sure that you can at least those connections, those kind of vibes between the players can stay together, and hopefully, Liverpool. I'm just trying to look at the score right now because I know they're currently still winning 2-1.
They're winning now. Okay.
Yeah, I think Chelsea. Let me have a look. Chelsea came back into it, and then Liverpool quickly 3 minutes later took the lead again. So.
Is there long left to go in that one?
There is 20 minutes left. So I'll tell you what, I'll let us both get away and watch hopefully the end of that match. But before we do, let's say pleasure having you, Gloryuss, on here. For those that want to get in touch with Gloryuss, kind of look at his Instagram. I'm going to put that in the links in the description. He's also playing the O2 in Islington just before Christmas. So make sure you go out and get your tickets to go and watch some proper UK garage. I'm going to have to obviously go and get my ticket and make sure I can get a pass from the wife. So I'm going to get that in as soon as possible. Look, Please do make sure you like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you want to come and see us again. We'll be talking hopefully next week when we talk to Jace will be back. Hopefully, I can't even remember when he's back off holiday, but we're going to be talking about Shakhtar. We're going to be talking about Liverpool. It's been a pleasure having you, Gloryuss, and thank you ever so much for joining us. And hopefully 3 points again on Tuesday and next Sunday too.
Fingers crossed. Thank you.
Cheers, man.